Donald Trump is building the advanced manufacturing and industrial economy he promised, where massive new revenues pay down our debt. Meanwhile, the modern British financial empire is using Elon Musk's tantrums to sabotage Trump's entire economic revolution. Why is that? Democrats, Wall Street, the City of London, and some in Silicon Valley want you to believe that our debt crisis means we need to cut spending and hit the debt ceiling to force government cuts. They say that's the only, quote, fiscally responsible path forward. But that's exactly the debt trap that the modern British financial empire designed. Keep America broke and dependent on financial speculation while they profit from our economic decline. Trump sees through this scam completely. I'm Barbara Boyd. I've been studying America's post-industrial collapse since 1971. When central bankers convinced Richard Nixon to destroy the Bretton Woods gold reserve system, setting us on a path to ballooning debt and a hollowed-out economy. Today, I'm exposing how the British Empire weaponizes debt fear to stop Trump's agenda. I'm going to show you exactly how the empire's debt weapon strategy works to block productive investment, why Trump's manufacturing revolution is the real solution that terrifies the financial elite, and how Musk's engineering genius makes him the perfect, unwitting spokesman for the empire's agenda, and why Trump's peace offensive in the Middle East is now crucial for unlocking the global economic development that makes all of this possible. Now, before I start, if you haven't already, go to the Promethean Action website now and subscribe. We're building a Promethean community here, one that can fully understand the president's economic agenda and recognizes our true enemy, the modern British financial empire. Now, let's dig in. Trump's vision is about building things, moving things, and fixing things, creating an economy where one wage earner can support a family. That's the kind of economy that can actually pay off the national debt, something Elon can't understand. Like his libertarian friend Milei in Argentina, he believes that the so-called discipline of austerity creates growth. But that thinking has been used over and over again since 1971 by the IMF and World Bank to cannibalize every productive economy in the world and sell it off for profit. The American system, which Trump believes in, generates growth by investment in the creative powers of the population, modern infrastructure, and a real production of new and advancing technologies. Trump's vision places the jobs of the future squarely into the hands of America's workers and builders, not the now vanishing professional and white-collar desk jobs chased by the Democrats and lived by Silicon Valley's gamers and coders. Here's what Trump wants: advanced energy sources powering new industries, a golden dome defense system, space exploration that opens new frontiers, massive upscaling of our labor force, stable supply chains for critical minerals, and rapidly developing economies abroad to buy the advanced goods we will be making. But none of this happens now without tariffs, targeted government spending, and most importantly, peace. This week, peace in the Middle East is front and center at the White House. Today, Bibi Netanyahu visits and Trump is pressing him hard for an end to the war in Gaza and the return of hostages, neither of which have been Israeli priorities. At the same time, Israel and Hamas are holding talks in Qatar about a new ceasefire proposal. And here's some real intrigue. The White House leaked that Steve Witkoff, Trump's peace emissary, is meeting in Oslo with Iranian representatives, the first such meeting since the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. It's not officially confirmed, but the signals are there. I believe Trump's bold Middle East peace plan involves a lot of backstage players, most significantly Russia's President Putin and Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Saudi defense minister was at the White House Friday to coordinate ahead of Bibi's visit. That same day, Putin made a statement highlighting Russia's historic alliances with the United States, from the Revolutionary War to World War II. He's reminding us that Russia has been our special ally before, and he is seeking to be so again. Russia has deep ties to Israel, Iran, and Syria. It's no accident if Iran's foreign minister sat with Putin as the U.S. attacked Iran's nuclear sites, or that Saudi Arabia has kept the olive branch extended to Iran after warring with them for decades. Trump said over the weekend that after the strikes, the Iranians called him, told him exactly where they'd launched symbolic retaliations. No U.S. troops were killed. All the missiles were shut down. Putin wants to be our ally against the common British imperial enemy, just like in the Revolution and Civil War. Saudi Arabia holds the carrot for the Israelis, recognition of Israel and joining the Abraham Accords, but only if the Gaza slaughter ends. And on Friday, Trump is hosting a first-ever summit with leaders from Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, nations with the strategic minerals America needs for advanced manufacturing. They want real African economic development, and Trump is ready to deal. This follows his historic settlement of the Congo-Rwanda 30 Years of War, which killed over 6 million people. It also involves securing a deal for the Congo's strategic minerals. Now let's talk tariffs and rebuilding our economy. The 90-day window for Trump's new tariff ends Wednesday. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on CNN Sunday that if deals aren't reached by August 1st, the April 2nd reciprocal tariffs will come back into effect. With that tool in hand, he expects deals with America's 18 major trade partners within this period. Trump's tariff policy has won major converts. Former President Jim Farley, speaking at the Aspen Ideas Forum Friday, admitted he's gone from free trader to tariff supporter. But he warned America faces a critical shortage of skilled labor. Over 1.6 million workers needed as auto technicians and in manufacturing, construction, and warehousing simply don't exist. To build Trump's economy, we need massive training programs fast with government support. Now, President Trump signed 2 executive orders on April 23rd addressing exactly this issue. They call for a complete review of all government-supported jobs programs to emphasize apprenticeships, upskilling for the modern manufacturing and industrial economy Trump is building, and AI training programs. The big, beautiful bill expands Pell Grants for this purpose and lets able-bodied adults keep Medicaid if they spend 20 hours a week in training. But more is needed. Ford is planning a conference this fall to address the skills gap. It will dovetail with the reports the president's 2 EOs commanded from his cabinet. This is the answer to the Democrats' tired talking points about Trump funding billionaires while throwing people off Medicaid. If Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s MAHA initiative reduces chronic disease and big pharma's price gouging, and a skilled trades boom fills new high-paying jobs with health insurance, we can end the death and medical debt march set off by Obamacare, kick the hedge funds out of owning medical practices, and build a wealthy, productive economy, and we might have enough new doctors, nurses, and surplus funding to assure every American access to quality health care. Now about Elon's tantrums. Ever since he left the administration, Musk has been raging about Trump's big, beautiful deal and the national debt. His outbursts have delighted Trump's enemies, Mark Cuban, Anthony Scaramucci, Senator Tom Tillis, to name a few here on the Republican side, along with the entire Democratic Party. They're drooling at the thought of using Elon's millions to defeat Trump's agenda come 2026. That's not to mention the joy being felt by all of the oligarchs in Europe. On June 30th, Musk tweeted on his X account, every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this platform. And then, hitting the debt ceiling is the only thing that will force the government to cut waste and fraud. That's why the debt ceiling exists. Then, on July 5th, after a poll on his own X, Musk announced that the American Party had filed with the FEC. But he filed the wrong form for a political party with the FEC. It's just a single candidate committee for a candidate named Elon Musk. That's what the form says. It's not the right form to form a political party. Musk's idea of hitting the debt ceiling to force cuts That could collapse the U.S. economy and produce social chaos, exposing things like Medicare, Social Security, and defense spending to the whims of the globalist world markets. But isn't that exactly what London wants? And here's the kicker. Elon is a brilliant engineer and a genius inventor, but he knows nothing about real economics or politics. He rails against big government, but every single one of his companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, got government grants and support. He opposed Trump's tariffs because of his interest in China and love of low labor costs resulting from offshoring jobs and importing H-1B visa holders at reduced salaries. And his budget math? He relies on CBO figures that ignore economic growth deliberately. Treasury Secretary Bessent is right. The key is the debt to GDP ratio. Can you grow your productive economy faster than the debt? That, by the way, is why Trump is threatening to fire Fed Chair Powell. Powell admitted to fawning European central bankers last week that the Fed would have lowered rates by now except for Trump's tariff program. But tariffs are now pouring billions of dollars into the Treasury with no resulting inflation. Yet because of the interest rate, the debt keeps rising thanks to the Fed. Bessent's response to Elon: I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I will take care of the finances. And on Sunday, the principles of Doge were very popular, I think, if you looked at the polling. Elon was not. President Trump also posted on Truth Social Sunday that he was saddened that in the last 5 weeks, Elon Musk has simply gone off the rails. So don't be confused by Elon Musk or the empire's debt collectors. If you understand Trump's economic revolution, you'll see we have a lot of work to do, but it's good work, productive work, building up the economy, which other presidents almost lost forever. That's the mission here at Promethean Action, making sure Americans fully understand this grand mission of our president and aren't fooled about the nature of his imperial enemies. If you haven't already, go to the Promethean Action website and subscribe. We have 6 more paid subscribers to go to reach our 1,000 paid members goal. Let's make it and more this week. I'll see you again on Saturday.
Thanks for watching. Please take a moment and subscribe to our free newsletter at PrometheanAction.com.